hello. Evoditv here, and I have someone so special to me here.
Nia Spencer.
Nia Spencer actually has her own page where you can follow, and she does all her lives too. But today we wanted to come on here because we were actually, it's funny how alignment works, because this morning I went out and I did this vlog about my children are back from the holiday and summer, and about how frustrating it is being a single mom again, even though I know I had a two-month break and all, but it was just so frustrating. So I did a vlog about that. And then she came over and we were having a similar conversation. And when those kind of things happen, that's when I'm like, you know what? It's time for us to go live and talk to other people about it and see how it resonates with them. So we're gonna actually talk about mental health and single motherhood. So I don't know if you wanted to just introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, other than my good friend and a beautiful queen.
Oh, stop it. Girls, keep going. Just okay.
Turning purple.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nia Spencer. I am a single mother. That's why I'm in this video. I am also working on a self-love and empowerment business, and I just have so many other business ideas, but I guess I call myself an entrepreneur, and I cater towards women who, you know, need that extra oomph in their lives. And I'm here today to talk to you all about my experience once it comes to mental health. I'm gonna throw my glasses on so I can see the comments.
And my son is here, my daughter is here, you know, we got a lot of stuff going on here, so you will see stuff in the background. This is extremely casual. This isn't like the 21 Days of Authenticity where I'm all like, welcome back to the 20, you know, like all like, this is a lot more casual. But one thing I wanted to touch on is how, as a single mother, how do we take care of our mental health? Mm-hmm. Or are we taught to take care of our mental health? And if I can go a little bit further, as a Black single mother, how do I? Because it's one thing if I was raised in a culture where taking care of your mental state is normal. Taking care of your mental state, you're informed on what is mental health and what does it look like to be depressed and anxious and all of this kind of stuff. But I don't know about you, but have you ever, when did you learn about what mental health and what it's doing in your parenting? Not only like mental health, because we talk about mental health in school, or I'm pretty sure something like that. Yeah. But mental health in your dynamic of parenting. Like, when did you be like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about this?
Yeah. Oh boy, that's a good question. Oh boy. I think, okay, well, before becoming a parent, I had suffered with mental health. I still do get anxiety, and I suffer depression. So I knew what kind of signs to look out for after that phase, because I had gotten to a really good place in my life afterwards. So I know that whenever I have, whenever I get any of those feelings that I had when I was back in that state of mind, that there's something not right. And there's also more to that. So with my parenthood, my single motherhood, I think just the times where I feel overwhelmed and I get anxious and I feel like there's no out, you know, and I don't prioritize myself and whatnot. I think those are the times that I really need, like, that's when I'm like, okay, like I need to take care of my mental health, which means that I need to take care of like my soul.
Exactly.
That's where it stems from. You're not taking care of yourself.
Exactly. No, definitely. And it's amazing because personally for me, because I was raised in the church, my whole culture is all revolved around the church. And I'm like, now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, when did I finally think about mental health? And I'm like, honestly, and I'm not putting down the church or anything like that, but I'm like, it wasn't until after I left the church and I started seeking help from coaching and going online and seeking it for myself that I was like, that's when I started to learn about mental health. Of course, it's not like I paid attention in school if they taught about mental health. And like, I know that, you know, Jesus, yes, can heal, and Jesus can fix, and Jesus can, let me say hi to some of these people here. Oh my goodness, there's so many people. Hello, everyone. Hello, I'm so sorry. How rude. That's like someone coming into your house And you don't even serve them water. You don't even say hi. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh, my girl Chantel's on here. Chantel. Mwah. Hello,
Hi,
Chantel. Hey, Thomas. Hey, John,
Samia.
Joe, Samia. Hello, hello.
Katrina and
Thank you,
Catherine. Hey,
There you go.
girls.
But so.
I just shared it on my page.
But personally, for me, it wasn't until I left the church and only focusing on how Jesus is going to do everything for me and starting to look for myself, because it wasn't working.
Yeah.
It wasn't working. We got to admit when something's not working. Like, and for the longest time, I'll just keep going with what my parents are telling me and what my friends are telling me or what society is telling me. But I'm sorry, if it's not working in my life and I don't see the fruits in my life, then it's not working, right?
Yeah.
And by going out, and I don't even remember the moment. I think it was when there was a girl that I met, and she was a lot like me. She was very agitated, very all over the place. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do something here for my son. He's so tired. Here you go, honey. There you go.
Ooh, are those bars?
But I saw this girl, I met this girl, and she reminded me so much of myself. And she's like, oh yeah, but I have bipolar. And I was like, no, you don't. Because if you have bipolar, that means I have bipolar. And I don't think I have bipolar. I'm not sick. I don't need to go in a mental illness hospital. And that's what I was thinking, because I wasn't educated on what is mental health or what are mental disorders. I wasn't educated on that. So I just assumed that it was something, just a label you're trying to put on, when it's so much deeper than that. And it affected my life in so many ways. And when it comes to now parenting, I didn't have the coping skills to really properly, effectively, one, teach my children how to take care of themselves mentally.
Yeah.
Two, I didn't even have the proper things to take care of myself.
Yeah.
I really didn't. Just a second, I have a visitor. Hello, visitor. Excuse me, visitor. I'm on Facebook Live, okay? So if you don't want to be seen. So confused. I'm on Facebook Live. I'm just letting you know. So just in case, you can come in. That's fine. We're just live.
Yeah,
we're just live. That's funny. So this is just to show you guys, if you guys ever want to go live and things are happening around you, you don't have to make it seem like, you're in this quiet place or whatever to go live, because life happens, right? But parenting and mental illness. But the point I was trying to get to is that it wasn't until I really took care of the fact that I was suffering from depression and anxiety. And what does depression look like? Because when I wasn't that person that was always dressed down and always inside the house. And if you were to look at me, I did not look depressed. As a matter of fact, I wore heels to school, high school.
You were one of those girls?
Yeah. Well, it was adult education, so I was like, I'm grown. Adult education. But yeah, it wasn't until I actually started to see how suicidal I really was, and how I was having these thoughts of hurting myself. I was having thoughts of hurting my children. I didn't know how to cope with for example, something falls. And I'm sorry, I'm a pretty honest person, and I don't mind, because I'm really, this is gonna shock maybe you, or maybe
Am I gonna run out the door?
No, but I would beat my children if anything fell, or if anything was and it wasn't that they were wrong, it wasn't that I was wrong, it was that there was already so much stuff going on inside of me, so many traumas from being abandoned, from being beat as a child already. That's going to be another video for another day. I am definitely going to make a video on us Africans and beating children and what it really does. I'm not saying that, that's another video for another day. Right now we're talking about mental health.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if that kind of stuff happens where you find yourself getting so frustrated, you can't even deal. Sometimes you can't even deal with your children. You just look at them like, what is wrong with you? And it's like, no, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I actually spoke about this in a video that I did recently, and I said there are times where if something spills or something breaks or whatever the case is, and I have to think to myself, is this a problem that can be solved? If nobody was hurt, if nobody was whatever, there's no reason for me to freak out. If this is a issue that can be solved, I will solve it. So what I do in my own little mental state is I count down from 10, because your initial reaction is to yell, is to get upset, is to be like, what the heck is wrong with you? But I count down from 10, and then I get in my Zen place, and I'm like, hey, I cannot get upset with a 1-year-old because he doesn't know. And the only way he knows is through my actions. So I have to be calm. And if I want him to do something which he should be doing, he needs to see me doing that, right? So the children don't know.
They don't know.
And a lot of times we forget that.
We're
our minds are always go, 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 go. And then it's like, it should be common sense to them, but it's not common until it's like a natural thing for them. Yeah.
And it's crazy. And it's funny because when we talk about this, we're talking about single mothers for a reason, because being single, that extra person that's usually there to, okay, I really need to go out for a walk. Can you just watch them?
Yeah.
You don't have that. Yeah. That extra person that, okay, maybe he doesn't listen to me, but maybe he'll listen to you. We don't have that. In the middle of the night, no matter what happens, you got to wake up. Anything happens, it's all on you. And not just that, it's also the fact that when you are a single mother, it's almost like there's all of these expectations and all of these prejudgments people have of you. So you're also trying to prove people that I am worthy. I am enough. I am able to educate and raise my children, you know? So with all of that expectation, we can't authentically operate, you know? We can't just authentically just parent our children and be present with our children, because we have so much stuff inside of us thinking, oh, if I just didn't have you, I'd be able to do this. And, you know, if all of these different thoughts that are coming in, when it's like, not taking care of you is affecting your parenting.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
I think I should grab this.
Ooh, charger. Yes, yes. Let me read some of the comments. Hello. It's really a process to get out of. Oh my gosh, it is such, and especially it's one of those processes that us single moms, us young moms, we got to come together to support each other in holding space for each other, in allowing ourselves to be real with each other, in encouraging each other, because it's so hard. It's so hard. And it's crazy because I'm like, where I am right now, I'm at such a better place, especially after this summer of not having my children and practicing self-love, because I used to say, how can I do that? Because I have my children, you know, self-love. I do self-love, you know, I shower, I clean my house. That's my self-love, you know, like I go and shop sometimes. That's my self-love, but it's deeper than that. It's creating a safe haven within you. It's not just doing these exterior things and then calling it self-love. Create the space inside you that in those moments you can go back to, you can resort to that place inside you where you know that, okay, I'm okay. Because if we're gonna be, I don't like sugarcoating. I don't like talking about the top of things.
Me neither, girl.
I like to get to the bottom of it. In all reality, we're not physical beings. We are spiritual beings. And as spiritual beings, the way for us to remain sane is to really connect to source, is to connect to spirit, connect to God, whatever it is you want to call it. That's what self-love is. Connect to your higher self. That's what self-love is. And if you have that time to connect to yourself and to really get to that place where you see that I am enough, I have everything I need, I'm okay. All of this, it's okay. Whatever expectations other people have of me, I don't even need to worry about them. When you can take 10, 20, 30 minutes daily to get to that place where you center yourself, where you pray and you remember who you are. Moms, oh my goodness, that's what we should tag it. That's what we need to do. Hashtag, let's hashtag this. Remember who you are, single mothers. Remember who you are. You're not we happen to be single and we happen to have children. That is all. We are not these single mothers. You know, and we walk around with this title of single mother that frustrates us because of single mother, and all you think of is all of the limitations that come with it, you know? And we are not that. We've got to take time every day, self-love, which is remembering who you are so that you're able to go out, and because that you have that peace inside of you, that stillness inside of you, or you've been able to conjure that feeling, when your children do something, when something happens, it's easy to resort back to that.
Yeah.
You know, like it's easy to go back and say, and feel that feeling of like, you know, it's going to be okay. Just let it go. Because think about it. I don't know about you guys, but for me, most of the times when I react to my children, it has to do with what other people are going to think about my parenting.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if not all the time.
Yeah.
It's all about what other people have to, and let me know if that's true for you guys too.
Yeah.
If that's true, yeah, because I'm like, everything, even, what's it called? This morning, my daughter went to go take a shower and she took her dress that she was gonna wear and she left it on the floor. And I was so pissed. Like I was so, what? How can you? Of course I didn't, you know, whatever. I'm human, okay? But I was just all in my head. I could think, did she do this when she went to my mom's house? What was my mom thinking? That I didn't teach her anything. She has no home training, you know, and all of these different expectations. And again, being the sole person, it's not like I'm blaming it on my husband or my boyfriend because I'm the only person. Yeah. Right? So yeah, I don't know.
Something that Catherine said here a couple minutes ago, she said mental health is so not understood. Some things I hear people say makes me say for real, it's sad. I think that's one of the things like growing up, especially like as children, like in order to get an insult that hurts someone, you say, oh, you're so bipolar. Oh my gosh, you have mental illness or whatever. So we're so ashamed by it. And we never want to be labeled anything that has to do with
you don't even want to look into it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I don't know about you. Growing up, what?
Yeah.
That's white people. Yeah. Are you white?
Yeah.
That's what I always heard.
Yeah.
It's like not that I even cared about mental health growing up, because it's like the amount of things. Again, let's talk about this as Black people, or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You know, let's not start terms. But Black, African American, mixed, whatever. You know, whatever the color. This color here.
We'll keep it simple here.
But like, especially when it comes to us, we've gone through a lot of things, and then we don't know how to overcome them. We go through a lot of different traumas, and if you can't go to counseling, if counseling's not supported, if you don't know about what's going on or how you're feeling or how to process your emotions or how to speak about how you're feeling and all that, how do we expect to be functional adults?
Yeah.
We're it's almost like we're supposed to be robots.
Yeah, we were set up for failure. That's what I feel, truly and deeply. We were set up for failure. But that may have not been intentionally. That is just a generational. There's just a generational and cultural thing.
Yes.
You know?
Oh yeah. No, and you know what? We got to change that. Yeah. We really got to change that. If you're watching this right now, I really would love to know, what are your views on mental health? What does mental health mean to you? Because mental health is not something you can say, oh, I don't do that. Yeah. Oh, sorry, it's not mine.
Yeah.
You know,
that doesn't happen to me. That will never happen to me. Like,
no, that's not, you can't say that. What, can you actually read the definition? I love definitions. Yes. Can you read the definition of mental health? Yes. Because it's not about doing something. It is a state. Your mental health is a state. Yes. So you always have some sort of state. Anyways, yeah.
So mental health is a noun, which means a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being. So under that, it says all this pressure seems to be affecting her mental health. So it's psychological and emotional well-being.
Well, psychological and emotional well-being. So, I would love to, you know what, I think I'm going to have to consult an expert about understanding it more, because now that we're talking about it, I don't even think I really understand it to the way I thought I did, you know, because I'm like, now that I'm trying to explain it to somebody, you know, to Facebook Live, I'm like, hold up. Wait, what? You know, or like even give examples and stuff. That's how much I don't know about it, you know? And it's so important to know, because I want to teach my children how to, if you can't create anything in life, you can't be successful in life, you can't have a happy life without a happy state of mind, you know, without a peaceful, calm, or whatnot. I won't even say peaceful, calm, because all of the ups and downs are, you know, part of life. But how to maintain your mental health. The same way there's physical health, you know, the same way there's spiritual health, there's also mental health.
Yeah.
And as a single mother, it's almost so much more important for us to look into, for us to make sure that we are aware of the different resources and tools and skills that are around to help us, because we're not alone, because we're never alone, but sometimes you are.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes physically you are alone. And then at those moments where, because I've been in really, really bad places, made holes in my walls, and my children were around, gotten so angry, wanting to kill myself, wanting to just even hurt myself so that they can go somewhere for a couple of days.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I can't take this anymore. I'm like, literally, like it's crazy. And if you are a single mom, you probably know what I'm talking about. And especially if you have multiple children, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's extremely important for us to really know, okay, how can I really take care of my mental state? How can I take care and take my mental health into my own hands? And if you don't know, that is not an excuse. Maybe everything not everything, but maybe some of the things that are frustrating you and some of the dysfunctions that are going on within your parenting has to do with your mental state. Maybe it really isn't your children. Maybe you really don't have bad kids.
Yeah.
Maybe your kids really aren't just there not to listen to you. Or like African parents love to say, maybe your kids aren't really trying to kill you.
That's the best.
Oh yeah, you're trying to kill me before my time.
Yeah.
Please give me some thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about, because I'm like, I've heard that so often. Yeah. But maybe it is just something that you've got to deal with inside, because a lot of what happens is that we relive moments in our life. When something traumatic happens to you, you kind of don't grow. You don't grow from that. So whatever happened there kind of repeats itself, and you wonder why does this feeling keep coming back in my life? Yes. Why does this situation keep coming back in my life? You know? And it has to do with, again, going back and taking care of your mental state, taking care of emotionally. How are you feeling? What is going on? There's a video I did a couple of months ago on feelings aren't for white people, knowing that your feelings matter. Your feelings are important. Don't you ever let anyone tell you that your feelings aren't important, that you can't cry, that you shouldn't be angry, that you shouldn't feel the way. Like when I talk to a lot of the people I talk to, like my coach, like my clients or different people, and I hear them say before they talk about what they're feeling, I know I shouldn't be feeling like this. What? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's you're entitled. You're entitled. There's just so many things that we've taken backwards. Yeah. And we need to put it right side up. Oh yeah. We got to start having more of these conversations.
Yeah, definitely. And that goes into Fantasia's comment here. She says, talking about Black, and specifically the major of Black single moms suffer more in mental health area. It impacts their ability of how to raise their own children.
Of course.
I was raised by a single Black woman who I believe has mental health issues, not to be rude, but because it is reality, and I've known her my whole life, and it's just pushed under the rug. It's pushed under the rug because Black people are not allowed to have mental illnesses, or there's something wrong with you.
Now let me ask you, could you ever tell her that?
Oh, hell to the no. Can I say hell no on your videos? Hell to the no.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
That's
so
an insult. That's like,
oh yeah. I can already see half of the adults, African adults that I know have mental illnesses, whether it's depression, anxiety, or something like that. Yeah. But we can never address that because they'll call it, no, it's just an evil spirit that you can pray away. What if that evil spirit was something that happened to you? Like something happened to you, something traumatic happened to you, and you're reacting to that. Like the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. You don't want to know what's going on. You want to label it that so that somebody else can do the work. No, you are in control. You do the work. Yeah. It's all you that's got to do the work. It's not something where even if you do pray about it, I'm not saying you shouldn't pray about it. Not at all. But even if you are praying about it,
you need to take action as well.
Exactly. Yeah. How are you going to fix it?
Yeah.
How are you going to heal it? Yeah. What tools and skills are available to you? Because for example, anybody that's watching this video, now you're aware.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Now you're aware, unfortunately, and it's up to you to choose. Are you still going to stay in the ignorant state of, I don't know why I'm so frustrated. I don't know why I feel like this. I don't know why I feel like this. I don't know why I feel like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to understand why you feel like that.
Yeah.
And I know if you're around people that don't support that, you have to go outside your circle.
Yeah.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
To look for help, look for those, reach out to myself, reach out to Nia, reach out to different organizations that are there to just ask a question, because don't you want to be free?
Yeah.
Right? Don't you want to be free? I want to be free. Hallelujah. We want to be free. Okay, well, I think we're just kind of, I'm done. Are you done? Unless you had something more to say.
Another thing that I wanted to say, and I've spoken about this in my own videos, but once you recognize that there is an issue, so you know what, this is a generational thing, this is a culture thing, and I'm not with it. Instead of faking it till you make it, because that's what we do to avoid conflict. That's what we do to just make the peace. Instead of doing that, go against the grain and unlearn these things. But when you're unlearning these habits, when you're unlearning these things that you don't want to implement in your life anymore, you have to replace it with something else. You can't just say, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, because you're never going to stop doing it until you replace that habit or whatever with something else. So for instance, I had said this in a video of mine a couple days ago, but growing up, my mom, until this day, she holds grudges. And if she wasn't talking to a family member or one of my friends' parents, who wasn't talking to them either? Me. And that's something that I grew up with. I'm going to hold grudges. And the people who I associate with should not be associating with those people that I don't associate with. And that's a very bad habit. That is a very toxic way of thinking. So now, because I kind of realized that as I was growing up, I implemented that in my own life, and I realized, I don't want to live like that anymore. So how I got rid of the holding grudges is that I just started talking my problems out. Like, I don't care if you're going to leave my life because you're uncomfortable, is what I have to say. I call myself the candid female for a reason. I'm very candid, and I say things how I feel. And like you said earlier, we don't sugarcoat, and I don't have time for that. I'm going to tell you how I feel. And if later on I'm sorry for the way I may have said something, I'll apologize for that. I don't mind doing that, but I'm gonna say, because that's for my own growth. I'm not gonna hold myself back to comfort someone else.
Exactly. Because
I know I'm trying to break this habit of holding grudges. So it's either I talk to you about it or hold a grudge against you, and I would rather talk about it. So yeah, it's about unlearning and really recognizing what you need to change, and then replacing that with something. So yeah.
So if there's any single moms out there that are feeling overwhelmed, extremely overwhelmed, frustrated, you feel like you're having negative thoughts about yourself, you're having negative thoughts about your children, you feel like you can't do anything, almost you feel depressed, that's basically, or anything like that, like all of these feelings that are uncomfortable feelings. Look into what that means for you. Look into, like, and I don't want to come in here and now do a whole lesson on feelings, in the language of feelings, but I can. Not on this video, on another video. If you'd like me to do the language of feelings, I'll definitely do that. But reach out. You're not alone. There's so many women, so many single mothers that have gone through so many difficult times. People like me, people like her that have gone through so many and are willing and are ready to answer your questions, to do whatever we need to do to get you to the place where you feel like, okay, I know that there's a way out. I see hope. Because we should never, just because that you are a single mother, that should never limit you from doing anything, even being an amazing mother. Yeah. Some people say because I'm a single mother, I can't give. No, you are amazing. There's no disadvantage because that your children, you're raising your children on your own. There's no disadvantage. The only disadvantage is the perspective you give your children, the perspective you give yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This was a great conversation.
It
was. I will be hosting more conversations on mental health because I will be doing Actually, I'll do that in another video, but I'm going to be hosting more videos on mental health. If you would like to come and have a conversation with me about mental health, let me know in the comments or in the inbox. You'll be seeing more of these kind of conversations. So I really would love it if people could engage more, because I want to know, especially when it comes to Africans, when it comes to immigrants, how do we see mental health? What does mental health look like to you in your life? Or do you even know what mental health is? Do you even care? You know? So, but that's it for today. I don't know if there's any, I don't have my context on. That's why she's reading and she can see the comments. I don't know. Did we read that one already?
Oh my gosh, I hope I'm saying this correctly. Bubble says, when we put God as the center of our life, nothing out there matters. So I think that's just about having faith. When you have faith, when we put God as the center of our lives, nothing out there matters. Yeah, when you have faith, nobody can tell you nothing. So that's like, I know my God, I know that He's gonna provide.
That mentality, though. And I'm like, that's so true. But people are taking God's words, and then when things don't work out in your life, you're crying to God, asking God, why isn't it working out? Yes, you put God first. What does it mean to put God first? What does that even mean? It means to take care of your mental health. That's what it means. Because when you're saying, oh, put God first, so does that mean that during the day you get frustrated at kids, you give this person a dirty look, you do this, but then you go home, you pray, you read your Bible, you make sure that what you're basically doing religious actions. It's not really a relationship. It's more of a religion. It's more of a system that you're doing. It's not something that's true to your heart, because you're right. If you really put God first, and God says that everything I have I give to you, and He said everything, all that God is in me, and He who is in me, and all of this stuff about God being in you, how can really God speak to you if mentally you're clouded? He's there trying to talk to you. Maybe He's been trying to talk to you, but you can't hear it. You're too frustrated and angry and depressed that you can't even hear God speaking to you. So that is very true. You put God first. How? By really taking care of yourself.
And there's something that I want to mention. There's somebody who I recently had in my life, who I no longer have in my life, and he is a very religious person. And he would literally just keep himself in this bubble, and his mentality would be, you know what, God has my back, blah, 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 blah. But when it came to certain aspects in his life, he would try to control it. And what I think he needs to understand is that you need to do what you need to do. So don't limit yourself because you're afraid or you feel like God doesn't have the plan for you, whatever the case is. Because at the end of the day, you need to allow the process. Let the process flow. And while the process is flowing, you need to have faith and just know that no matter what happens, one, it's God's will, and two, there's going to be a lesson learned in it. You're going to learn a lesson. So when you try to stop the flow, or when you try to take control of what's destined to happen for you, that's when chaos starts to happen, because you're resisting against the flow versus just saying, you know what, I'm not comfortable about this aspect in my life because I've got hurt before, or this hasn't worked, or this hasn't happened for me before, whatever the case is. But if you're given the opportunity where it's going to happen, allow it to happen freely and have faith all at the same time instead of just resisting. Because when you resist, you go crazy, because that's meant to happen for you. So let it be. Yeah. So yes, and then we have Fantasia here who says, #don't blame evil spirits, gain more knowledge instead.
I can't wait. I cannot wait to have more conversations. I would love to even go to church, and after church ask them if we can just sit and have a conversation circle and talk about mental health amongst Africans, because a lot of African churches, at least that I've gone to, most of them don't have very many white people anyway, so it will be a conversation with Black people. Don't try and blame mental health and all of that on evil spirits. And it's so funny. it's so funny because I'm like, people will say stuff like I blame it on witchcraft and curses and evil spirits, but I'm like, what does witchcraft even mean? Do you know the origins of witchcraft? Or is it just your mom said it was a generational curse, or your aunt said it was a curse and it was a witchcraft and the witches of our family, therefore, like, it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Evoditv here.
Nia Spencer.
You guys need to go follow Nia Spencer. She'll comment, or I'll tag her in the video. She has amazing videos, amazing candid videos, authentic, real videos. And when it comes to mental health, also, she's someone that you can reach out to. She's gone through it. She's doing the work of getting out of it. So definitely reach out to her, reach out to me, reach out to the different organizations around you that are available for help if you need it. Yes. So have a wonderful day. Peace, love, and light. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Until later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
It's always so awkward. The last